How to Live Forever, presentation by Loretta Downs. The Disney animated film, The Book of Life, takes the viewer to the land of the remembered and the land of the forgotten. How we live and how we die influence which land we remain in forever. Loretta Downs returns to Open Circle with her inspiring and uplifting views on making friends with death, supporting the end-of-life experience together, and facilitating healthy grieving. In this presentation, Loretta will plant guideposts to the land of the remembered, should you choose to walk that path. All of us will face death with many loved ones before we meet her ourselves. She is a better friend to those who prepare. Loretta holds a master's degree in gerontology. She is a certified senior advisor, advanced care planning facilitator, end-of-life doula, and past president of the Chicago End-of-Life Care Coalition. Loretta has over 35 years of sacred service to the dying. It's an absolutely amazing presentation. It's usually quite packed here, so come early and grab a great seat, and we look forward to seeing you. And as I say, if you've heard her before, this is going to be different. This week's presentation, Earthships and Rainwater Harvesting, a gateway to sustainable living, presented by Keith Lindauer. Lindauer? Keith is going to show us what Earthships are, how they are built, and how and why they could change our life and the environment for the better. Also, he's going to talk to us about rainwater collection Lakeside, as water continues to be a serious problem in the Lake Chapala region. RainManMx, I don't know what that is, but I know he's going to tell us, has stepped outside the box and designs and installs rainwater collection systems for home, business, and schools. He will tell us how it's done and why we and our environment will benefit from drinking the rain. I love that. Keith is a traditionally educated and trained architect on road. I just met him, I can already tell the road. In 1996, after an encounter in Colorado with New Mexico architect Mike Reynolds, Keith's life took a left turn. The next 25 years was devoted to green building, planning, and developing sustainable communities on and off-grid homes across the Americas. Please join me in welcoming Keith.
Did that work? Yep. Okie dokie. Nice crowd. Thanks for coming to hear my spiel. If I'm not speaking loud enough, or I'm speaking too loud, just let me know. I'm an architect, trained architect, went to Kent State University in Ohio a long time ago. Builder all my adult life, real estate broker, and I moved to Ahaik 2 years ago. Moved here with a friend who introduced me to Ahaik, and then subsequently, this was my best friend, he came down with cancer, asked me if I could help him pass his life in Ahaik. We were successful. And then I said, well, I'm not going back to that madness. And I stayed down here. I'm passionate about green building, sustainable living, living lighter on the land. I'm upset about what I see going on down here. All the water problems that we're faced with in Chapala, and nothing really seemingly being done about it other than trying to put another Band-Aid on the system. So we'll talk about that. But back in 1996, I met Mike Reynolds. This is a picture of Mike. Where'd he go? Oh, the wild man with the white hair, that's Mike Reynolds. And if you've never met him, you'll never meet anybody like him. He's a crazy man. He's done more to prove to people that you can live sustainably, off-grid, You can live an ecologically correct lifestyle without trashing the planet and without sacrificing any of the luxury that you're used to living in. The best way to experience what I'm going to talk about is to go and see an Earthship. Go stay in one if you can. Earthships are homes that Mike developed over the course of the last 50 years, and they're made from recycled materials. Predominantly old car tires, aluminum cans, wine bottles, things that our society throws away that he turns into useful building materials. Not just useful, I mean really nice building materials. These homes, though I'm going to show you a few simpler ones, there are grand Earthships on the planet. One in particular, one in particular is Dennis Weaver. You know Dennis Weaver, the TV actor? Well, this is Dennis's house here. This is Dennis's house here. Dennis lived in Colorado, lived in Ridgway, Colorado for the last 20 years, 30 years of his life. I got to know him. I did a big remodel on his Earthship in Ridgway. Dennis built the highest elevation Earthship in the country back quite a while ago. And everybody thought he was crazy. And I was one of them. I heard, oh, Dennis Weaver's building a house out of garbage, they would say. And I'm like, people have too much money. And it took probably a year before I actually said, I got to go see this house. And I drove by this house and went, oh my God, this guy's not building a house out of garbage. He's building a house out of recycled materials, and it's a luxury home. 5 bedroom, 5 bath, generates its own electricity from the sun, catches all its rainwater, all its own domestic water from rainfall and snowmelt. It heats itself in the winter. This is at, Ridgway is at 7,500 foot elevation. It has heavy winters, no source of heat besides the sun. In the summertime, it gets hot in Ridgway. No cooling except natural-based cooling. It's a beautiful home. Mike Reynolds, the architect, and Dennis Weaver collaborated to build this house. This is when I don't think there were 5 Earthships in the West. And so this was definitely a guinea pig project. Now there's hundreds of them. If you go to Taos, there's hundreds just in Taos. Because these homes are easy to build, inexpensive to build, and you don't have to be a rocket scientist to do it. How do I build an Earthship? Well, when I started, I still do it the same way. First thing I do is I go to the local high school because it's a very labor-intensive house. You have to fill tires, old car tires, with dirt. And you have to pound it with a sledgehammer until it inflates and becomes a 350-pound round adobe brick. Why? Because the house is a thermal mass house. The reason it works is because it's storing thermal mass. It stores heat in the wintertime, it stores cooling in the summertime. And it does it with no mechanical systems. It's just like they used to do here a generation, 2 generations ago, 3 generations. Adobe. An Earthship is an adobe house. It's a rammed earth adobe house. You're just using the tires as a containment vessel. You're making round adobe bricks. And you're plastering them with earthen plasters, natural paints, and you're catching rainwater and snowmelt. When I moved to Ahik a year ago, my goal was I want to build an Earthship down here because I want to teach this process of building to the local Mexican community and anybody else that's interested. But I really think that if the local community, local indigenous community would learn about building with natural materials and with recycled materials, we'd be able to get a lot more less fortunate people under roofs that take care of them. I mean, these homes, an Earthship is the best home I have ever lived in. And mine was simple. I mean, 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, but cute. I was the only guy in my hometown. This is Rico, Colorado, at 9,000-foot elevation. The only guy in town with a not hooked into the town grid, the electrical grid. I built with the sun. I didn't hook into the town water supply. I collected rainwater and snowmelt, and my house was zero energy use. And when I started, I was almost laughed out of the town. I couldn't even go to the local tavern because I was the butt of everybody's jokes. And then the power started going out in the wintertime, because it does in Rico frequently. And the people are saying, well, how's he got music on? How's he got lights on? So I never missed a beat. My house never went down. But I had a neighbor live right next door to me, lived in a beautiful, conventionally built home. And I'm noticing he's packing up the car with the kids and the family. They're heading to Cortez to get a motel room because the power's been out for 2 days and they're starting to lose the food in the refrigerator. The house is going intolerably cold. Pretty soon the pipes are going to start freezing. You have none of that if you design a home that respects the powerful natural forces of the earth. You can heat yourself. You can cool yourself. You can catch every drop of water you could possibly want if you'll just stick your hand out. It's hitting you in the head. And that's what got me going crazy down here was, so I'm looking at land to do a sustainable community down here. And I'm starting to hear about all these water problems in Riberas and Chapala, and I mean, I could name any community and everybody's having the problems. The water is drying up, the water tables are raising, the water tables are dropping, and the quality of the water being delivered is substandard to say the least. Everybody's got the problem. If you don't, you will. So I thought, man, I've been catching water for 30 years off of the roof of my house. Why aren't people doing that here? I still don't have an answer. But I said, you know what? While I'm here, I'm going to start a company and I'm going to start designing and installing rainwater systems for any house. I can convert any house, any business, any school, any community to rainwater harvesting. Well, what's so good about rainwater? That's all I drink. I catch rainwater and I filter that rainwater down to drinking water. And I don't worry about what the municipality's putting in the water to keep it clean or sediment-free. And water is your best option for healthy water. I'm neurotic on what I drink. I don't want to drink this bullshit that is spreading cancer throughout the community, and I think mostly comes from bad water. So you can't see it, you can't taste it. but you know darn well it's there. So I started doing this, converting homes in the area to rainwater catchment. And then one day, somebody said, "Well, you're full of beans. The rainwater is just as polluted as the city water." And I thought, I don't think so, but so I started getting some test kits, and I tested the water. And what they were talking about was the fact that now, today, a lot of our water is polluted by what they call forever chemicals, PFAs, PFASs. These are chemicals that are coming out of plastics, and now they're permanently in the atmosphere, and you can't just wish them away. The rain's not going to wash them away. But luckily, what does get rid of them is a reverse osmosis water system. So, many people here already have RO on their houses. If you don't, and you decide you want to catch water, RO is not difficult to put on. It's inexpensive to operate. And if you reverse osmosis rainwater in Ahik, you will have the best quality water you can't buy in Ahik. I tested the water here. It came out with no lead, no pesticides, a hardness level of 0, which is perfect, a pH of 7, which is perfect. All these things are set up for optimum health with our local water. Now, you're going to have to filter it. Nowhere on the planet anymore can you just drink the rain and not be drinking something you probably shouldn't drink. But with today's filters, you can filter sewage and get drinking water. So it's doable. And what gets my goat is to see all these beautiful mansions getting built up on the hillsides, and we're sucking the water tables out to fill our jacuzzis, and we don't really worry about watering the grass in the wrong time of day. We just do it. And we're lowering the water tables so that our local indigenous Mexican community suffers. They don't have the water they need, and they don't have the resources to just drill the well deeper or whatever solution. Just call the pipa, get a pipa. Well, you know how much money is spent on pipas in Ahik? Pipas being water trucks, potable water trucks. My God, you don't need to do that. I mean, when I started doing this with rainwater, I'm doing the design work, and I'm hiring local plumbers to construct my designs. In the last 8 months, I've met a lot of plumbers, local born and raised plumbers in Ahik. Out of all those plumbers I've met, not one plumber has ever constructed a rainwater collection system. What? I mean, I heard rumors that the planning director in Chapala wanted to talk to me because he heard that I was doing this. He wants to talk to me because he wants to make it mandatory that if you build a new house in this region, you have to have a rainwater catchment component.
Wow. Excellent. Yes.
Yeah, really. It's like, of course you have to have one. That's like today you have to have a toilet in your house. If you don't have rainwater, there's no excuse. I don't care if all you're doing is watering your plants. Your plants will love rainwater, just like your body will love rainwater. You'll see a difference if you move off of the town water supply and water your plants with rainwater. Well, we have 240 days of drought here. Yeah, you do, but my God, they make these 10,000 liter tanks that are all over the place. Plus, you can construct your own cistern. It's not rocket science either. You could build them any size, any shape, and just about any cost. These things don't have to be expensive. Some of my clients say, well, I'm sick of this Roberus water supply. I want to be energy, water independent. You can do that. I can design you a home or design you a system, most likely, unless you have something unusual, where you could save enough water that you can skate through the 240-day drought that we're exposed to. It's doable. But even if you didn't do that, if all you did was you caught enough water that you have a safe and reliable supply of drinking water, you're going to be a healthier person. You're going to have a lot less problems, interior problems, that you don't know what's happening to you. But it's making you age quicker. It's giving you illnesses you can't diagnose. Nobody can. When you start eating these, forever chemicals or all these other pollutants that are in our local water supply, I don't even like drinking Garrafones because I was surfing on the internet 6 months ago and I saw one of our citizens tested, I won't say the brand name, but a brand name bottled water supply. It came out with coliform bacteria in it. Like, what the hell? No. Coliform bacteria is not something I want in my drinking water. And this is supposed to be safe, bottled, sealed water. No. So I design gutter systems, I design filtration systems, and I use local labor whenever possible. I also I build out and sell rain barrels for people. You've seen the blue plastic barrels, they're everywhere. And I've taken the blue barrels and I put an import lid on, hole in the top. I put water faucets on the tank. And now I've got a series of these tanks through the community where people are at least watering their vegetables or the plants that are most of concern to them. And so it all goes back to Earthships. Here's Earthships. They just do this naturally. And your house can too. An Earthship catches all its water from rainfall and snowmelt where I live, where I'm from. It cools itself in the summer. It heats itself in the winter. It catches all its rainwater, all its domestic water from rainfall and snowmelt. It treats its own sewage. Earthships discharge no waste into the ground. Everything is taken up by plants and evaporation that happen in and around the house. This is the best house you could build, bar none. I mean, my house over there, my house manufactures oxygen for me to breathe because of all the plants that I have inside the greenhouse. Inside the house, I'm using plants and evaporation and transpiration to treat the sewage. I can grow tomatoes at 9,000 foot elevation with my wastewater stream. And all your medicinals, all your herbs, zucchinis, marijuana, doesn't matter. You can treat your sewage in this format. So one of my goals of being down here is been working with another local to try and find the right piece of land to build a sustainable community, to show off these systems to people who've either never knew you could do these things or lost the skills. As an example, the Mexican population. You ask a young Mexican today to repair an adobe wall, they can't do it. They don't know how to do it. Their grandparents stopped using adobe when the federal government of Mexico decided everybody should be in concrete homes. Well, big mistake, because I could teach a chimpanzee how to plaster a wall, and the plasters will be elegant. I mean, beautiful, natural, healthy. They don't outgas. They live. They're a living organism. It provides you with oxygen for you to breathe. It gets rid of all your waste without polluting the earth, and they're inexpensive to build. High school kids will raise your tires for you, or you can build Earthships in a workshop format, which is what I prefer to do. And I prefer to invite as many people that want to come, along with the local sports teams at the local high school, and we show them how to pound tires. And you can raise the walls of an Earthship in a couple of weeks. And now you've got your foundation, your walls, they're plaster ready. My God, you've got your heating system in place. Your water system will be in place by then. And if we're going to live here in a place that we don't belong, we need to do better. We need to set an example. We need to help these people realize that the gringos aren't just taking all of our resources and living the good life. Thank you. We can show them. We can show them how to put water in their cisterns, roofs over their heads, and skill sets in these young people's back pockets. And they can plaster homes with this dirt right here for very little or no costs. And paints. I went to Alamos, one of the other expat communities in Mexico. Alamos, beautiful town. 16th century Spanish colonial village up by Ciudad Obregón. And I went there because I couldn't find any damn work in the United States. And my best friend who passed away down here said, you ought to go down to Alamos because that place is nothing but adobe. And that's one of your expertises. I went down there, I was blown away at the beauty of the 16th century village, and everything, every building was adobe. Oh my God, Spanish architecture everywhere. And everywhere I went, it was being ruined by Portland cement and latex paint. The richest man in Alamos, probably to this day, is the Pittsburgh paint dealer. And he's busy selling lies and bogus materials to people that have these beautiful adobe homes, and they're plastering them with cement and then coating them with latex paint. It makes me sick because when you do that, you ruin an adobe house. Portland cement has no business being anywhere near adobe. And it goes in with paint too. You can paint clay walls, you can paint lime walls and with lime plasters and all these natural materials that give elegant results. But no, we have to go to Home Depot and come home with some orange buckets before we're going to feel like we're really building a house. No, no. You can do it cheaply, you can do it more healthfully, and and it's not difficult. When you plaster with earthen plasters, even to some degree lime, but with earthen plasters, clay, when you're making cob or adobes, at the end of the day, your hands are so soft. They feel beautiful. There's no cracking. Do the same thing with cement block or concrete or cement plasters. Your hands are going to start to bleed from the abuse that those materials expose you to. So I could do this all day. But my goal was to introduce you to the concept of building green. If you're going to build a new house, if you know somebody who's going to build a house, my God, put some degree of sustainability into that house, whether you're catching rainwater for your marigolds or you're taking water seriously and you're setting yourself up to drink nothing but rainwater. These are all really important things. I'm going to shut up and I'm going to take questions from the audience. So.
Okay. I'm going to help you do that.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay. So if you can ask your question loud enough, go ahead and stand up and belt it out. I'll point where. If you need help with the mic or you would like me to come next to you and tell me the question and I'll repeat it. Yes.
I bought a cabin in Crown King, Arizona. It's an old gold town.
What was the name of it?
Crown King.
Okay.
Okay, it's very high. Okay, I bought a abandoned cabin. Electricity, plumbing, nothing. Okay, and I sold it. And I collected water. Okay, the town is 600 cabins. Okay. And the water supply is by a mine. I collect the water. I got 2,500, 2 tanks, and 1,500 underground on the shed. I was the only one who did not suffer on water. All the town in the summer, the water was a few hours. And I wondered, why they don't collect it here?
Well, you're making his point. You're making his point. Thank you. I want to take some more questions.
Okay.
You can't hear what he's saying, so that's the other thing. The people, these have to be questions that then, we can repeat. Pardon me?
What about the microphone?
We're not doing that at this point, but we should do it soon.
No. Also,
I guess we
you
could.
did not mention what is the safety system in your house. Is that an alternative or is it regular?
It's alternative.
Would you repeat the question?
He just asked about the type of sewage systems I use. And I worked with a gentleman named Tom Watson to evolve the way an Earthship treats its sewage. It used to be done, when I first became familiar with Earthships, it used to be done with a solar toilet. There was a solar oven built on the front face of the house, and you would do your business in that oven, and the sun would dry up the turds and turn everything into ashes, except the toilet paper. So you had to light your toilet paper on fire. That did not go over well with my wife.
Keith, back here, all the way in the gazebo. Woo!
And so we had to change the way we're doing it. The short answer is pumice and plants. That's what my system has that your system doesn't. It has crushed pumice and plants. I compost underground, and then the pumice wicks liquids up to the surface, keeps the topsoil layer moist and the plants growing. And oh my God, does it work beautifully. And is it cheap?
Actually, I was talking to some people yesterday, and the question is, when you do reverse osmosis, I was told that for every gallon of drinkable water you get, you have 7 gallons of wastewater that goes with that. what do you do to make sure that that water is being utilized and not wasted?
Well, I've never heard that before, but I would just make sure that it goes into you know, plant beds, or probably that's the best thing, into your landscaping that you don't care about, like your trees and not your ornamentals or your food, but your ornamentals and your food, the plants that you really care about, your marijuana, you want that to be grown with rainwater, the best water you can find.
Okay.
This is fascinating. Thank you for coming. How big do you need an aljibe to hold your water? And we don't have rain for 6-7 months at a time. And does the water go bad sitting there? How do you keep it clean?
Good question. The water will not go bad if it's not exposed to sunlight. So if these are buried cisterns, or you see a lot of these big blue cisterns that can be buried, they're blue like that because they don't let light in. So if you're gonna collect a lot of water, like a 10,000 liter tank, you want it to be either covered so it can't take in light, or buried, same reason, and it will last you. Now, it's all a formula. How many people in your house? What kind of house are you living in? Is it an energy consumptive house? Do you conserve water? Do you waste water? What's your washing machine look like? Because there's some washing machines that'll use 40 gallons for one wash of water, or there's others like a Staber who will use which will use 5 gallons. So, what are your goals? I want to get completely off of the Ribera system. I never want to hear about it again. I have enough land that I can bury 2 10,000 liter tanks. You're going to make it through the dry season, as long as you are responsible. It's not a family of 6. You know how to conserve water. So, but everybody's different. Everybody has different goals and objectives. I don't think I've had 2 people that had the same objectives.
I'm gonna do back here. I'm working my way forward here.
Okay.
To just real quickly answer that question about the reverse osmosis, it does do, depending on your water, 2 to 1 gallon, to 10 to get 1 gallon if it's real minerally. We live in northern Baja, and we're running out of water, which is why we're down here looking for a more moist area. But I had a question about the reverse osmosis. Is most rainwater tends to be acidic and not full of minerals. I mean, when you take out the minerals of reverse osmosis, then there's no trace minerals at all, or as I like to call them, stardust. What do you recommend people do to get the trace minerals back in that are essential for life?
Eat food.
Growing with good soil.
There was a presentation here a while ago, and it was about water treatment, and people talked about the concern of taking all the minerals out of the water. Well, you have minerals in your food that are more valuable and more of a concern than the minerals in your water. So get those minerals out. It's no big deal. You'll supplement with vitamins, you'll supplement with carrots, and things that you normally eat that will give you the nutrients that you need. You don't have to put supplements in your water to make up for the fact that you have an RO system.
Right here, coming forward.
I would just like to thank you for your presentation. It's pretty incredible. I've followed this type of systems for probably 25, 30 years. I've always been excited about this kind of building, but it's only because of where we lived. We couldn't build like that inside the city. You had to be on separate land somewhere. But anyway, I just wanted to ask you about the water system. Have you ever heard of the Berkey water filtration system?
It's the best.
I brought one of those with to Mexico because 2 years ago, we felt mineral depleted when we were drinking the local bottled water that's hauled in the back of these half tons. So last year, we brought our Berkey with us, and I did what I call ozonating. I ozonated the water first in a 5-gallon jug, then I poured in my Berkey, and we have a place in Bucerias, so we had some of the best water we've ever been drinking. I couldn't believe how good it is. We bought a house in Bucerias, and we ended up putting in a double filtration system ahead of our water tank and a light system. I'm trying to think what it's called. Ultraviolet, UV filtration. Well, that was even better yet. It was amazing. So we paid $400 and some Canadian for this, about a 2-gallon jug. It's portable. We can pack with us wherever we go. It's the best thing ever. You don't lose any water. You can take river water and put it in these containers and drink it.
That's right.
2 charcoal simple filters.
I got another one for you. Have you seen the systems that are being offered publicly now where you could get drinkable water out of the air? Wow. There's a company called Source, and Source is located in Scottsdale, Arizona, and they sell panels that you can mount on your roof, and it will manufacture clean. Their system actually adds minerals back to the water because they believe they want to replace the minerals, because it's the same process. It's a distillation of humidity. It takes all the minerals out of the water, and all you end up with is pure water. And today, $5,000. $5,000, and you can have your own source of water and forget about the municipal systems.
I just want to say, I'm not a Berkey salesperson. I just bought it for personal use. So I just wanted to make that very clear.
That's all right. I'll kill your desires to be a Berkey salesman. And that is that I am right in the process right now of making my own Berkey out of local materials here, using a clay flower pot that I'm filtering the water through the clay pot and into a type 2 recycled plastic bin. It's cool as hell.
Amazing.
For no money.
Amazing, thank you. I want to talk to you after this presentation.
I have business cards up here if anybody wants.
Okay, over here. Calm down here, people. Can you stand up, please?
Calm down.
You need,
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
use the mic because they won't be able to hear it. Well, it's on. Speak into it.
Okay, I have 2 questions. Number 1, have you been able to establish land here where you have started your construction?
I have gotten so close.
You have not done this yet, and how much would it be for approximately a 1,000 square foot house? Given the land, if the land is already there, the price for the house alone with all the infrastructure?
You know, of course, it's such a hard question to answer because depending on what you want to build. But I will say this, that I have priced Earthships out for other people in this community. And I think, I've not built here yet. I've done rainwater systems, but I haven't built an entire house. But I think safely I can tell you that I could build you as a general contractor where I've got a profit built into my numbers, no more than $100 a square foot. Wow. I could do it for less if time isn't an issue, because the way to cut the cost of these kind of homes is to have workshops and to have free labor come in. Labor is your big cost. It's not materials. Tires are free, cans are free, aluminum is free, dirt is free, sand is cheap. I mean, it goes on and on. These things are really low-cost material homes, but they're high labor. And they're only high labor for the walls. Once you get the walls up, well, I suppose that's not true. Plastering takes time, but all these are fun to do.
She's asking what is the roof material?
Really good questions. It could be different things. Because of how good filtration is today, you could have a metal roof. You could have, I mean, back in the old Earthship days, they would just have rolled roofing. And they would paint that rolled roofing with some kind of a paint that's supposed to be water potable. But I know a company in Dripping Springs, Texas. Some of you may know Richard's Rainwater. Richard sells bottled rainwater in Austin, Texas. He catches it off of anything. He'll catch it off of that. He'll catch it off of that. Any surface he will catch water off of, because then he just filters everything out of it. And he's got the best water.
Quick questions. I've got a couple of people that are raising their hands, so.
Not really a question, but an observation, because I think
My
a
zipper
lot of people
on?
don't understand it now, is that the water supply here comes out of wells. You're not allowed to take it out of the lake. So it comes out of the wells, and this is all volcanic area. And the water that's coming out of the wells have chemical, or things in it like arsenic and lead.
Pesticides, fertilizers.
And when you're buying your water from the guys who come around.
You need to hold the mic closer, please.
Sorry. If you're buying your water from these trucks in the garage rooms, quite often all it is it's been filtered and run through ultraviolet, and it still has all of those minerals.
Totally. If any of you have washed your car with your municipal water, and if you didn't dry your car, I don't care, you could have a $10,000 water filtration system in the garage. But that water is still going to leave calcium deposits on your car. It's hard as hell, and it's hard to get rid of. Oh, no, it's not hard. We just installed a water softener. Water softeners are based on salt. And so you're adding salt into your drinking water. Yeah, that sounds like a really good solution to me. No.
One more here.
Thank you very much. I really appreciated that.
Thank you.
I didn't know anything about Earthships until last night I went on the web. And they were very positive, but there were two complaints they made. And
Just
I
two.
wonder if you could comment. There were two. One was they thought it was not generalizable in much of the country, in the United States, for example, because it isn't warm enough there. That was one comment.
Not true.
But that's what they said. And the other one, they said, after a couple of years, many of the Earthships developed mold. And I wonder if you could comment on this.
That house, upper left, that house grew mold. It was the first Earthship at 9,000 foot elevation, built in 1992. Yeah, I screwed up on places because I had no science behind me. I had one book written by Mike Reynolds, and I had a lot of passion to do this. Today's Earthship, flawless. No mold, no foul odors, perfect temperatures. I'm talking about a well-built Earthship has one temperature, 70 degrees. It's always, I don't care if it's 15 below zero, it's 70 degrees inside the house. I know this, I lived these things. When I was building an Earthship in Nicaragua, very hot, very humid, I stayed in, Mike said, stay in my place in Albuquerque on your way to Nicaragua. Mike was going to meet me there. And he had a 6,000 square foot Earthship. You'll see it if you go online. It's called the Phoenix. This thing is drop dead beautiful. But it was under construction. There was only one room and it was done. It was the master bedroom. When I got there, it was 13 degrees. I opened up the door to this house under construction. Boom, hit with a warm, humid cloud of 70-degree air. I was like, wow, man, that is amazing. And they truly are. I was going to show you videos of some really nice-looking Earthships and things to stimulate your imagination. But go online. If you Google or YouTube Earthship homes, you'll be overwhelmed with what comes up. There are so many fantastic examples of of people with low skill levels that built their own Earthships. There's good ones and there's bad ones. I only built good ones. But
I've got to stop you. I've got to stop him.
no.
He has cards
No.
here. I know. You're better than Google. You're entertaining, you're educational, you're irreverent, it's good. Okay, we got to stop him. He's going to be here. You come up and talk to us. Thank you so much.